Hello, indie authors. This is Valerie Isan at the Indie Author Mentor Podcast. Today is May 1st, 2019, as I record this, and this is episode 9. So, May 1st, Beltane, May Day, whatever you want to call it. Happy day. It's a beautiful spring day in Springfield, Oregon, as I record this, and I'm super happy about the weather. This whole week is going to be super nice, and we had weeks of unrelenting rain following a really crappy snowstorm that knocked down a bunch of trees in March, or I guess it was the end of February. So it's been a couple months, but I still feel like I'm recovering from that, and these sunny days are really helping me, not be depressed. So spring's back, and I hope it lasts. Okay, let's see. Today on the podcast, I'm going to be talking about book funnel and advanced readers, and an interior design, which sounds like it doesn't all go together, but these are just kind of the next steps in the self-publishing checklist that I use. So I wanted to talk a little bit about them today. But first, a personal update, a reminder that that book giveaway that I was doing for doing the survey, today's the last chance because I'm doing the drawing tomorrow. May 2nd, 2019. If you're listening to this later, sorry about that. So if you would like to be in the drawing, please contact me directly through my email, valerie@valerieisanauthor.com, or you can, I guess that'd probably be the best way to do it at this late stage. Just email me, valerie@valerieisanauthor.com. Next week, is it next week? Yeah, May 7th, Tuesday night, I'll be speaking at Lane Connect in the Osteo Strong building at 315 West Broadway, Eugene, Oregon at 6 p.m. It's a networking meeting. It's free. So the talk I'm giving is going to be on self-editing your blog content or website content. So if you write a blog or you're trying to get your content into your website because you're just doing a new website and you want to hear 20 or 30 minutes on how to do that, then please join me if you're local to the area. I'm also maybe kind of considering doing a Facebook Live of the talk, but I've never done that before, and probably I'll chicken out and not do it. But if you want to send like words of encouragement and, oh yes, that would be great, I would love to hear the talk and I'm not local, I want to hear this, please Facebook Live it, then you can contact me on our Facebook group, the Indie Author Mentor, or you can message me directly through Instagram or email. You know how to find me. Okay. What else this week? I sent my 2 first books in the Indie Author Mentor series off to my alpha readers last week. That is Goal Setting and Strategic Planning for Writers and the How to Write a Novel or Memoir book. Sorry about the dog. So those are the first 2 books in the series, and those went to the alpha readers to get some feedback. And I started writing the 3rd book in the series, which is called The Nitty-Gritty of Self-Publishing. So that's exciting. Stuff's happening. Let's see, what else? What else did I do? Oh, I hired a gardener. First of all, I would like to say that I listened to a podcast maybe a year ago or something. I think it was last summer. And I was on a retreat and I was listening to a podcast about women entrepreneurs. And the podcast host said, straight up, she just gave like permission and kind of an admonition. If you are running your business out of your home or out of your home in 2019, you need a housekeeper. And I was like, hallelujah, because I've had housekeepers in the past and I didn't, I kind of felt guilty about it, but not too guilty because I'm not a super organized house cleaner. I'm organized in other ways, but not so much with my house clutter. And when my kids were little, I felt it was just sort of mandatory to have a housekeeper because I couldn't keep up with, I could either clean the house or I could straighten the house, but I couldn't do both. So, having small kids around, I wanted the house clean because they're crawling all over the floor and sticking their hands in their mouths and stuff. So I've often had a housekeeper, in the past, but I haven't had one for years and years and years. And finally I was again faced with, I just can't keep up with all of the things. And it's just really the two of us, my husband and myself, plus our 4 dogs. So I guess there is a lot of dirt there. Anyway, I finally last year just went ahead and did it. And she comes every 2 weeks, and both my husband and I are ecstatic that it happens. But it kind of was an easy decision because, since I'm just being honest here on this podcast, I don't like to clean house. It's not my favorite thing. I also don't like to cook so much either. But so it was easy to hire someone else to do it. But I really like, mowing the lawn and planting flowers. And, I like being in the yard and being outside. So hiring a gardener felt like I had failed on some cosmic level or something. Because I enjoyed doing it, I felt like I should just have the time to do it. And the reality was I don't have the time to do it, especially during the times when it needs it the most, which is the summer times and the late spring times. So I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before, but I volunteer out at the Oregon Country Fair year round. And they have a fair every year mid-July. And so the weeks leading up, the 6 weeks leading up to the fair in July, so starting like the beginning of June, which is a month from now, I'm out at the fairgrounds twice a week, Saturday and Sunday every weekend, to get the fairgrounds ready for the fair mid-July. And this year, because of the snowstorm, there's so much damage out there that I'm kind of surprised that we're not out there every weekend already. So that means that my garden is crappy. Like it's dead and overgrown, and I never have time to work in the yard because I'm always working out at the fairgrounds doing the same kind of stuff, prepping the earth and taking care of invasive species and taking the blackberries out and just all of the things I'd be doing at home, I'm just doing somewhere else. So I definitely felt like this year I just needed to give myself a break and it's a little bit of less stress. And so I just hired a gardener, and he came for the first time yesterday. So my front yard looks so much nicer. I mean, there's still a lot of weeding to do in the front, but he used the little weed whacker and mowed and weeded most of my garden beds. And so it inspired me to spontaneously pick and cook chard this morning for breakfast. And I made bread and I refilled the hot tub and watered all the plants in the house. So it was really inspiring to have a cleaned up front yard. So if you don't already have one and you're stressed out and it gets left by the wayside, I recommend getting some gardening help this year. So if you need permission to do it, I hereby give you permission to hire a gardener. Okay, there are no new patrons this week, so I just want to take this time to thank all of the patrons that do support me through patreon.com and remind you all that all of my patrons at any level get a connection video once a month. The first Monday of every month, I send out a connection video. So if you are interested in connecting with me in that visual way through a video sent right to you, then join me on Patreon. Patreon.com/the Valerie Ihsan, IHSAN. The support of my patrons on Patreon helps make this show and other projects possible, plus being a patron of the arts is a totally cool thing to do. Joining my Patreon community also gets you sneak peeks into my creative world, kind of like in those connection videos, and allows you to interact with me directly. You can email me at any time with the Patreon in the subject line, and I will get back to you ASAP. You'll have top priority in my email inbox if Patreon is in the subject line. And also rewards you with exclusive bonus content you can't get anywhere else. For less than the cost of a tasty hot beverage or a pack of gum, as low as $1 a month, you too can become a patron of the arts and me. Find me on patreon.com/Valerie Ihsan. Okay, in the resources and reviews section, I guess I'll just pitch the talk. I'm giving a free talk again on that self-editing your blog posts and website content. So if that's something that would be useful to you and you are in the Eugene Springfield area, I will be at 315 West Broadway on May 7th, Tuesday night, 6 p.m. I am reading Become a Successful Indie Author, Work Toward Your Writing Dream by Craig Martell. And I just started reading it a few days ago, and I like it. I like the structure of the book, the way it's set out. I like his voice. It's pretty no nonsense and layman's terms and all that. But so far, it's been pretty much a review for me. I haven't learned too much new things from it at my stage in the author journey, but I'm only maybe 30% into the book, so we'll see. But I do recommend it so far, especially if you were just learning and want to get a handle on what is involved in self-publishing and being a successful indie author. Okay, on to the main topic, which is book funnel, street teams, and print design. All right, so on our list, the next thing you want to do is send. Remember last week we worked on the digital copies, the digital files that you make of your book, the EPUB and the Mobi, and how to do that and what software to use. So now you need to send this digital copy to your street team or advanced readers for review purposes and more quotes. So what I mean by this is, so I guess I should do this in reverse order. So I guess we'll talk about street teams and advanced readers first. So the reason for having that, well, there are multiple reasons why, but the main reason I think people use advanced readers is to get your book read before it's published so that on launch day, you can then email your advanced reader team that have already read your book and say, okay, it's launch day, everybody go leave your review now. And then your Amazon page, your Kobo page, or whatever, the book landing page on the store will have reviews already. And reviews are social proof that your book is good enough to buy. And getting reviews is difficult, and there are passive ways of doing it. This is a more active way, and an active meaning, you have to be a little bit more involved. It isn't just sort of a set it and forget it thing, like putting a link to your free book in the front and back matter of another book. That would be a passive way to do it, but this is a little bit more active. So you're asking for reviews, and the people that are more likely to review your books are the ones that already read your books and already like your books and already know that they're most likely going to leave a review. So it's organic, but a little bit not organic, if that makes any sense. They're predisposed to helping you. They're on your mailing list. So my advanced readers are a subset of my mailing list. They're people that are on my mailing list that like my books, and they have said that they want to read books in advance in order to leave reviews on launch day. So they already know the gig. They know what's expected of them. And I give them the opportunity each time I publish a book to to go ahead and do it. And not everybody that is on the advanced reader team wants to get the book and download it. For instance, a case of that would be like, especially if you write in multiple genres, maybe you're putting out a new book and it's not in a genre that your advanced reader team normally reads. And if it's a new genre that you're trying out, all you can do is ask. And in that case, I think I would pitch it to your whole mailing list and be like, hey, I've got this new book out. It's a new genre that I haven't written in before. I know that you buy all of my women's fiction, but if you're not really into cozy mysteries, you might not want to give this a try. But if you do want to try it, here's the link to sign up for the free copy of this cozy mystery novel that I just wrote, and please leave a review when you're done reading it. I'll let you know when launch day is. So that can be the email. So that would be the main reason why you would want an advanced reader team, or sometimes called a street team. So these are the people that are going to go to bat for you and say, hey, this book's really great, social proof wise. I've read it. I liked it. You should buy it too. And the way people communicate that is through reviews. So in order to get that book to your advanced reader team is through a service called BookFunnel. And I highly recommend BookFunnel. It's pretty much best practice right now in 2019. There aren't a lot of authors around that will just send an isolated Mobi file or EPUB file in an email that a reader will then have to figure out what to do with, like somehow get it on their device. And it takes, even if they know how to do it, it just takes a bunch of steps that is really unnecessary. And if you're trying to create a nice, easy experience for the reader so that they will read it and they will leave a review, then the way to do that, again, is to make it easy for them. So bookfunnel.com is a very inexpensive service. It's like $20 a year or something. And it has different tiers, different levels. If you have multiple pen names, it costs more, but however, you can go and research which tier is the best payment structure for you and that will suit your needs the best. And there's a lot of integrations. It's just a really great service, and they keep adding more and more new cool things for authors to use it for. It can collect email addresses for you if you want, but again, I recommend that MailChimp or any other of those email marketing services, I recommend you do that and not do it through BookFunnel, but there may be an additional reason why you would need them to do that. So that's all just to say that BookFunnel does a lot of cool things for authors, and you should check them out. So one of those cool things is, and the main thing they do is to deliver e-files to readers and give them a very easy way to download it to the device that they use, and to take care of all of the customer service for you, so you don't have to explain how to sideload an EPUB to a iPad or like a first generation Nook or something like that. It's not something that you would maybe even know how to do. So I highly recommend BookFunnel for that, and it's inexpensive. So the process of I just talked through this with a coaching client of mine today. So the way you use BookFunnel is you sign up for a free account. Well, it's not a free account, excuse me. You sign up with a free username and password, and then you sign up for the tier that you're going to use, which if you're just starting out, I recommend the basic one. That's I think it's $20 or $25 a year to sign up for, and then you're going to upload those files directly to BookFunnel. So you create a landing page for the book. So you you upload the cover, the ebook cover, and you fill in the text, the sales description, any information that you want to have available And you can make this specific just for your street team. You can just like leave them a note on it, or you can just put the book description, or you can make it generic, and you can reuse the link for other people besides just the street team, which is what I do. And then you upload the files, a Mobi file, an EPUB file, and the PDF if you have it yet. But again, at this point, this is just for the street team, and that will just be probably all you have at this point is the EPUB and the Mobi file and the cover. So upload those. It creates a really pretty landing page or a download page, and that BookFunnel will give you a link to that download page. So then what you do is you email your mailing list or your advanced reader team list, your street team list, and give them the link to that download page. And they go to the download page, they download to whatever device. It's really great instructions, and they'll be able to download the book to whatever reading device they are using, and then your job is done at that point. Like BookFunnel takes care of everything else. If for some reason there's a challenge with the download process for some reason, then BookFunnel is the one that will take care of it, not you. Okay, so we talked about street teams, we talked about BookFunnel, and let's see, what are the next things? Another thing that you could do to increase your chances of book reviews for launch day is to set up an advanced readers giveaway through librarything.com. Goodreads also does this, but it costs a lot of money to go through Goodreads. So if you use LibraryThing, then it's free it's free for either paperback or ebook, but I recommend at this stage just doing ebook, especially if you're just starting out, because it costs money to mail. You would be responsible for mailing paperbacks to the winners of the giveaway, and the postage is expensive based on where you're needing to deliver it. But it is an option, and it is a resource for you, and it's kind of a win-win situation. So if you just go to librarything.com and set up an author account there, then you can create a giveaway for your book, and then the people that sign up for the advanced reader giveaway, maybe you want to allow 15 copies of this ebook that you wrote, and maybe 850 people say, "Ooh, I want that one," and then they do a library thing does the drawing or whatever, and they have winners of the giveaway, and then Library Thing emails you and says, "Okay, these are the people that won the giveaway. Here are their email addresses. Mail their copy to them." So again, I would do that through BookFunnel. And because these people are not on your regular email list, you can't take these names and put them on MailChimp and email them out. So you'd have to do that through BookFunnel, or do it individually, because there'll only be like 10 or 15. So you could just do, one at a time. If you do them all at once, make sure in the email field you use the BCC. I always forget this because you don't want to be sending somebody's email address to random strangers because they might misuse it. So make sure that you put the one email address in the to line and then all of the rest in the BCC, which means it's going to blind it. Nobody else will see it. And then you can send the link. Hooray, you won the giveaway. Here's the link where you can go download your free book or your advanced reader copy. And then again, it'll go through BookFunnel. So either email them directly, or there's a way to do it directly from BookFunnel as well. But again, don't put them in your mailing list because they have not opted in, and that would be, against the law. Okay. I think that might be it for today. Oh, I wanted to also briefly talk about interior design. So up to this point, we've been talking about ebook design and creating the ebook files. So if you're doing a paperback, which I totally recommend you do, you can either hire someone to do the interior layout design of your book, putting the page numbers on the right side of the book and doing the drop caps and all that stuff, then you can, but that can cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars. The first couple of books I did, it cost about $600 for the interior layout design. And then I found Vellum. And Vellum, I've mentioned before, does the ebook design. That's we talked about Vellum before, but you can also pay extra for the paperback version too, the print version, the print interior design, and that's going to be totally separate. So if you create in Vellum or Draft to Digital or Readsy in their book editor, you can. I personally upload it twice, so I create an e-file through Vellum or Draft to Digital, and then I also upload another file to create a PDF, because the front matter and back matter are different in PDFs paperbacks versus the e-books. They come in a different order, and so I want to control that. And also, of course, you're not going to have page numbers in an EPUB, so they're different. They're different files, but it's still free to use that software. So I no longer pay an interior designer. I just go through that book template process, either through, I use Vellum because I have a Mac, but for my students, I just recommend Draft to Digital because it's free and it's web-based. So it doesn't matter what kind of computer you use. Okay, and it goes through the exact same process that we did, that we talked about before last week. So I won't go into detail about how that works. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to email me, Valerie at valerieisonauthor.com. You can find me on our Facebook group, Indie Author Mentor on Facebook, or you can leave a message in this video if you're watching on YouTube, or on the podcast notes if you're listening through the podcast. So thank you so much for joining me today on episode 9 of the podcast, and I will see you next week in the next video. Be well.